Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 tips on how to become a great guitarist. These are basically things that I've learned along my journey of being a professional full-time guitarist and throughout 4 years of music school. Number 1. Take time to learn the basics. When you're first starting to learn guitar, take time to learn all the basics to set a really solid foundation for learning more advanced stuff in the future. Learn the basic open chords, get comfortable playing them and changing between them, and when you have a good understanding of this, learning bar chords and extensions and all of that stuff will come a lot easier to you. Also, really try to learn some basic theory. You don't have to learn everything there is to know, but at least try to learn the names of the notes around the fretboard, how key signatures work, and some basic sight reading skills. Another really important thing to learn is the pentatonic scale. It is one of the fundamental building blocks for guitar and will help you understand music a lot better, and you'll be able to improvise and write solos easily. Another important scale to learn is the major scale. If you can learn this all over the neck, you really unlock the fretboard, and also you'll find entering the wonderful world of modes so much easier as you'll already have all of the shapes down. A quick tip as well, when you're practicing these scales, try to think of them as shapes or boxes rather than the fretted notes that you're actually playing. Move the shapes around and be sure to practice them in a lot of different keys, so you're drilling the shape and intervals into your head rather than the specific frets that you're playing. Also, don't just learn these scales up and down, learn to play them in thirds, fourths, fifths, triads, and so on. Then use all the shapes you've learned and improvise over a backing track to see how they sound in context. Just work hard to create a solid base and everything else will make way more sense and therefore be way easier for you to learn. Number 2 is learn the songs you love. Throughout your guitar journey, make sure to always learn and play the songs that actually really inspired you to start playing guitar, no matter what people tell you is good or bad music. If you love Black Sabbath, then jam out to War Pigs all night, or if you love Hannah Montana, then the best of both worlds is your jam, my friend. If you learn from the music you actually like, you'll wake up and you'll be really excited to play and learn new things, and you'll be way more inspired. Having said that, number 3 is make sure you learn the classics. Always take time in your practice routine to learn songs from some of the greats, and the whole songs, not just the solos. We're talking Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, you know, all the people that really helped shape guitar playing into what it is today. This gives you an insight into how the original great guitarists played, and there are just so many things you can learn from these guys, whether or not you like their music. I really wish I did this more when I was younger and actually learned full songs, as if you've got some of those in your arsenal, it makes it so much easier to just go out to jam nights and play with other musicians. And that leads me to number 4, play with other people. It's not as dirty as it sounds, I promise. I grew up in a small town where there really wasn't a music scene at all. I barely knew anyone who even knew who Led Zeppelin were, let alone that played instruments. But when I went to music school at 17, I realised the massive benefits that come with actually playing with other people. There's just so much you can learn from others. They may see things in a way you would have never thought of before, and they can teach you their own tricks and techniques and everything. It also helps you make connections and establish a network of people you know within the industry that can really, really help boost your career. Finally, it's also really important to learn how to communicate with instrumentalists that don't play guitar. For example, maybe learn some basic drum skills, or at least learn how to speak to a drummer. I know it can be hard, they are a strange species, but knowing the difference between a crash and a ride cymbal, or being able to vocalize the beats you hear in your head, can make a massive difference. Number 5 is play live as much as you can. There are real world things that practicing in your bedroom just cannot prepare you for. For example, realizing you have to bring spares of literally everything. Leads, strings, pedals, amp, fuses, anything and everything. And this can really be a lifesaver at gigs if you have a spare box in your car or something, just so you're always ready for anything. You'll also develop a stage presence, which is such an important part of being a live musician. There's nothing more boring than watching a band that just stand there in their own bubble, never looking up from their instruments. You want someone that's running around the stage, having fun, involving the crowd, and just putting on a great, entertaining show. It can take time to build this confidence and presence, but when you do, it really takes you to the next level. Playing live is also just really, really fun. But some tips: be prepared for a lot of waiting around and always wear earplugs. Number 6 is write your own music. This is one of the things that actually helped me the most. Even if you don't want to be a songwriter or anything, I found writing songs or composing solos really helps you develop your own unique sound and style as a guitarist. It also really helps you put your theory and fretboard knowledge into practice, and you'll come up with some creative and original licks that you'll use for the rest of your playing career. If you struggle to think of a place to start when writing songs, try listening to a bunch of songs that really inspire you, figure out how to play them, and then just adapt them. Maybe change the key, play it backwards, change where the one lies, just basically mess around until you found something new and original. Number 7, I'm really not good at this, jeez. Number 7 is learn how to count to 10. Number 7 is learn from other genres. Even though you may only want to play thrash metal, take some time to listen and learn from different genres, as far away from your music taste as they might be. When I was at music school, we had to learn all kinds of genres: jazz, neo-soul, country, world, everything. And although I didn't necessarily enjoy learning all of these types of music, I learned some amazing, innovative things that I have taken and I actively use in the music I play now. And this has really shaped me into the guitarist I am today and given me a unique sound. Another thing to note is don't just tune into the guitar. Learn trumpet lines from Miles Davis, learn rhythm patterns from John Bonham. Basically just expand your musical vocabulary as much as possible. Number 8, yes, I got this one right, finally, is practice as efficiently as possible. Find a practice routine that works for you, making sure you hit all of the important learning bits such as theory and scale practice, as well as allowing yourself time to just have fun and jam out. Here are a few practice tips for you guys. Firstly, it's always a great idea to play with a metronome when practicing scales and things to really lock in a great sense of time. But sometimes this can be so boring and soul destroying just hearing that endless clicking. So maybe try playing along to a drum track instead. This will make it feel more like you're actually making music. Maybe just get a drum loop up in Logic or something, and then you can change tempos and stuff easily. Another thing is you can combine things you're trying to learn into one exercise. For example, if you're trying to learn the major scale and how to string skip, then combine these into one exercise and play the major scale with string skips. Another tip is record yourself playing and listen back. This will highlight and help you hear the things that you actually need to work on. You can even try playing with yourself or like playing along with yourself. I know there are some dirty minds out there that went the same place mine did, but this way you can see what playing is like for other musicians when they're jamming with you. And finally, try to learn as many things as you can by ear. YouTube's really good for this as it actually has a slowdown function. So if you hear a lick or something you like, change it to half speed, work through it. You can always compare to the tabs after, but a lot of the time your ear is actually more correct than a lot of tabs are. Number 9 is set goals and motives. Figure out what you want to do and who you want to be in the musical world. Do you want to be your own artist or a session musician, maybe in a function band, a music teacher, or like composing music for video games or something? Just find out what drives you, figure out what you need to do to achieve that and work towards it. It's also a good idea to set smaller goals to help things feel more achievable and actually give your practice a purpose. I personally struggle to practice without having something to work towards. Maybe it's a new song or a YouTube video, or maybe it's a certain technique I'm trying to get down or something. Just a thing that gives my practice session an actual purpose and a reason. Finally, and maybe most importantly, is number 10. Don't be a dick. This one's relatively self-explanatory. People like to work with people that are nice, helpful, and make them feel comfortable. If you arrive late and you're arrogant, lazy, underprepared, people just will not want to work with you no matter how good you are. Always arrive the best version of yourself no matter what the session is. Also, make sure to go to as many social events as possible, such as gigs, jam nights, and industry meets. Learn how to socialize and make connections with new people, as you never know who you might meet. Having good social skills can be just as important as being a good guitar player. So there we have it, my top 10 tips on how to become a great guitar player. Let me know your tips in the comments below and we can share the knowledge and help each other out. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned some stuff that you can apply to your own playing and musical journey. Please hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified every time I post. And like this video if you want, or dislike it if you hated it. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.